I'm going to show you how to expand your network at a young age, even if you have no money, nothing to offer, and are starting from literal zero. You see, I'm only 19 years old, but I've managed to build my network that's got me onto private jets, yachts across the world, and around the highest value people in the higher echelons of society. And this is all for you just mastering a few key skills. Funnily enough, I actually started through video editing, and now this skill is what took me to be able to earn 10K per month. Because this skill alone was my foundation for being able to provide value to other people, and that's what you need to strive to be able to do. If you have not got money to your name or already got a decent network that you can provide to other people, the third thing that you can provide to these people when you are trying to network is a skill. Now, before social media was used as a tool to generate thousands and thousands of pounds of income for people's businesses online, video editing probably wouldn't have been seen as much of a valuable skill as it's seen as of now, because these people who are posting on social media were needing videos to be done. And guess what? Because I could come in and save them time, save them effort, and also get them results, that was the value exchange there. But you got to understand, you're not gonna get to Donald Trump's level with just being a video editor. So this is where the concept of value stacking comes into. I took a step back and looked at what the people in my industry were needing and what they were doing good and bad at. When you look at the social media industry as a whole right now, people's content is still crap to this day. Cool, they may have had someone edit it nice, but the way it's filmed, horrendous. The way it's managed, horrendous. The way it's distributed, just so bad. It's funny to see. So when I identified this, I broadened my skill into learning how to use a camera, learning how to use lighting, learning how to script videos, learning how to post, learning algorithms on YouTube and Instagram and how to actually hack them and do well on them. And you've also got to realize you want to get people a return on their investment. If someone's paying you for something, they need to get more money back than what they're giving you. Especially these entrepreneurs that you are wanting to try and target, as these are the ones which are going to be getting you these opportunities. And you should always be looking on how you can get this person a return on their investment into you and your services. So I was learning how to scale them too and generate more income through their online business, through their content. So by stacking all these different skills that were related to each other one way or another on top of each other, I made myself more and more valuable in so many different ways that when it came to networking and it came to meeting new people, when they asked, what do you do? I actually could present myself in a way where I knew I could provide some value to them and they could provide some value back to me. And that's how relationships start. It's a give and take. You see where you can provide value to each other. So even if you start with absolutely nothing to your name, invest in learning a skill that people are needing, because that is literally the key to these doors of these inner circles. But it's not over yet. Funnily enough, it's actually only just started, because once you've learned these skills, you need to become the best at it. You need to be seen as the master in your industry. Now, what do I mean by this? It's best to be known as that go-to guy in your industry. How do you think legacy mechanics have continued to go on? Because in that area, they're known as the guy, the mechanic to go to, because they're gonna get your shit fixed. Now, obviously we're in the online era and this hasn't been any more easy to do, because for everyone to know you as that guy in your specific industry, that skill you have, all you've got to do is talk about it online, showcase your results, and prove to people that what you do is the best that they could possibly get. So a little story for you guys. When I became that go-to guy for filming and video editing and social media management for international clients, I not only just made a significant amount of money from it, I got invited into the rooms with some of the most successful people that are private jets, yachts, most notably one with Imam Gadzi, private cigar lounges, where the levels of conversations in there expanded my mind onto a whole new level. So being the best will open doors for you that would otherwise stay closed. And when you do become the best at what you do, people will just notice and want to throw opportunities your way. Now, positioning does also play a key role into this. And now there's two parts to positioning: physically and mentally. You got to physically put yourself in these places sometimes. You can't expect to bump into a rich billionaire in fucking Audi searching for your spices. The right places generally include more expensive gyms, hotel lobbies, the events in clubs at specific times of the year where all these people group, like Monaco Grand Prix, like Fashion Week in Milan or in Paris. There's countless for me to list them off to you. Now, secondly, when it comes to physically positioning yourself, you've got to understand it's about climbing the social hierarchy. It's just a massive ladder where you leverage your existing connections in order to get to the next one and to the next level and open even more doors. And it's the concept of just networking through others, as I may know someone who would need my value, or again, I know someone who can provide value to someone else in my network. And it's just bridging that gap. It's just networking through your own network. And my last point for this is that you've got to always prioritize the relationship over the monetary value. Always. And I especially mean this when you've made a mistake or when you fucked up, because it's those connections that are a lot more valuable and long lasting than that bit of money in that short-term period. Think of the long term. Now, when it becomes to mentally positioning yourself, you need to understand how these high value people think, how they act and what interests them. Whether that be cigars, private member clubs, fine wines, exclusive pieces from certain brands. By studying these finer details will just make you a little bit more relatable, because when you learn about what they appreciate and you put yourself in their world, you're going to understand not only how they think, but how they act. And when it comes to having just a general conversation like a friend, you're not going to be there scratching your head like some fucking weirdo. Now, I've probably left the most simplest and easiest point till last. Funny enough, this point goes over so many people's head, and so many people just lack the ability to understand it. But just have common sense and be likable. I can't stress this enough. How many people lack the ability just to have common sense? I don't get it. Don't be a fool, man. Like, basic common sense can go such a long way in these situations. And when it comes to just being a general likable person, even if you don't have that much value to offer yet, being a likable person can be enough just to get your foot through the door sometimes. If you can share a joke and make them laugh, kind of like how you would to a girl and then get her number, it's the same with just a general networking opportunity. People enjoy humor, relatability, and good energy. And for example, when I've been flown out to go somewhere, I'm staying with these guys for about maybe 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks. If I was an absolute weirdo, an absolute dookie who didn't understand the concept of common sense and being a general likable person, them 3 weeks would have been horror for me. And even if my work was the best thing they've ever seen, the memories of that time of me working with them is always going to be filled with, that Kian guy was such a fucking weirdo. I can't stand his voice. I can't stand his energy or his humor or his vibe. So you've got to understand these factors also come into play. And one thing that's paid me homage especially is reminding them of what they were like at your age. So when I started doing all of this at 17, these entrepreneurs that I were targeting to work with could see my hunger, could see my drive, could see my work rate, could see my skill, and they could see a sense of themselves in me because they were once in that position. And when you have that dynamic, they're more likely to feed things your way because they just see a younger self. And anyone in these high positions are only going to want to help people who are below them. And if it's a situation where they can relate to even harder, they're going to put even more time and resources into it. Now, boys, if you want to build your network and create these kinds of opportunities, don't wait until you have money. Start learning a skill now and put yourself in these positions.